Everyone in Willow Creek said the same thing about Cole Rivers. They said he was not man enough. They said he was too quiet, too simple, and better with horses than with people. And when Emma Cartwright came back to town and started spending time with him, those whispers grew louder than ever. Emma Cartwright never planned to return to Willow Creek. For years she told herself she had outgrown it. The town was slow, too small, and full of people who remembered every mistake you ever made. She had left for the city chasing a better life. Instead, she found long hours, empty rooms, and a loneliness that followed her everywhere. One morning, tired of noise and disappointment, she packed her car and drove back toward the place she once ran from. Willow Creek greeted her like it always had. The old bakery still smelled of warm bread. The post office still leaned slightly to the left with its faded sign. Tractors rolled lazily down the road, holding up traffic like time itself had stopped. Emma smiled without meaning to. The town had not changed much, but she had. She felt calmer, steadier, and ready to breathe again. She moved back into her parents' old house at the edge of town. Dust filled the rooms and memories clung to the walls. Neighbors stopped by with pies and polite questions, asking how long she planned to stay. Emma smiled and said she was not sure, though deep down she already knew she was home for good. A week later she saw him. Cole Rivers stepped into the general store wearing a dusty hat and worn boots. He looked taller than she remembered, broader in the shoulders, with the same calm presence that made the room feel quieter. He moved with purpose, nodding politely to the clerk. Emma felt a sudden twist in her chest. She had not expected old memories to rise so fast. Cole had been the quiet boy in school, the one who helped carry boxes and never caused trouble. She remembered hearing he worked at a ranch outside town, caring for horses and fixing fences. When he turned and saw her, his eyes widened slightly. "Emma," he said softly, as if making sure it was really her. "Hi, Cole," she replied. "It's been a long time." He removed his hat without thinking. The small gesture made her smile. They spoke about simple things, her return, the town, the ranch. Cole listened more than he spoke, but when he did, his words were thoughtful and sincere. There was nothing weak about him, nothing unsure. After he left, the clerk leaned closer. "He's a good man," she whispered. "Hard worker, loyal, but you know how people talk." "Talk about what?" Emma asked. The clerk sighed. "They say he's too quiet, that he doesn't know how to keep a woman happy, that he's more comfortable with horses than people." Emma walked home with those words echoing in her mind. They felt wrong. Cole did not seem unsure or small. He seemed steady, like a man who knew who he was even if others did not. She saw him again at the farmer's market. He was helping an older man load hay bales into a truck. Emma watched before walking over. "You always helping someone," she teased. "Only when they need it," he said with a gentle smile. When she offered to help, he refused kindly, saying he did not want her hurt. There was warmth in his voice, not awkwardness. The rumors made even less sense now. Over the following days, Emma kept running into Cole, sometimes by chance, sometimes because she found herself drifting toward places he might be. She learned he lived alone at Sunrise Ranch, that he helped neighbors without being asked, that he never spoke badly about anyone. He kept his distance, not out of coldness, but because he seemed used to being misunderstood. One afternoon, she overheard two women at a cafe talking about him. They said he was too simple, too quiet, and not the kind of man who could truly satisfy a woman. Emma felt anger rise in her chest. "You don't know him," she said calmly as she passed their table. That night she thought about Cole again, about how words shaped his life without his permission. She wanted to know the real man beneath the rumors. Their closeness began in small moments. One morning, Emma saw Cole fixing a broken fence at the ranch after a storm. Without thinking, she stopped and offered help. He hesitated, then smiled and handed her a piece of wood. They worked side by side, talking about horses and life. He spoke with quiet pride, not boasting, just honest. From that day on, Emma visited often. She liked the way silence felt comfortable around him. Cole slowly opened up, surprised by how easily she listened without judging. One evening, watching the sun sink over the fields, He told her she made him notice the beauty he usually missed. Rumors did not stop. People whispered that Cole was not good enough for her. Emma defended him calmly every time. She did not argue. She simply spoke the truth. One afternoon, sitting beneath an old oak tree, Cole admitted he knew what people said about him, that some believed Emma would regret choosing him. Emma looked him straight in the eyes. "You are strong. You are kind. And you care more than you show," she said. Something shifted between them. What began as quiet companionship grew into something deeper. Neither rushed it, neither needed to name it yet. But as Emma lay awake one night, she understood the truth clearly. She was falling in love with a man the town had never truly seen. Emma and Cole did not rush into anything. Their closeness grew the way strong things often do, slowly and without noise. Days turned into weeks, and weeks settled into a quiet rhythm that felt natural to both of them. Emma helped around the ranch when she could. Cole helped fix things at her old house. Neither of them called it courting, but everyone in Willow Creek could see what was happening. And everyone had something to say about it. Emma noticed the looks first, curious glances at the market, pauses in conversation when she walked by with Cole, smiles that did not quite reach people's eyes. Willow Creek had already decided who Cole Rivers was, and now they were deciding what Emma Cartwright was thinking. Cole tried not to let it bother him, but Emma could see the weight he carried. Years of quiet judgment do not disappear just because one person believes in you. Some evenings, when they sat together on the porch after a long day, he grew quieter than usual. One night, as the sky turned purple and the horses settled in the fields, Emma finally asked him. "Does it hurt," she said gently, "the way people talk about you?" Cole stared out at the land for a long moment. "I got used to it," he said. "When you hear something long enough, you stop arguing with it." Emma felt her chest tighten. "You should never have had to." He gave a small shrug. "This town likes simple stories. Quiet man equals weak man. I never fit the version they wanted." Emma turned toward him. "You don't owe anyone a performance." He looked at her then, really looked at her, as if her words were something new and dangerous and hopeful all at once. Their relationship became official without an announcement. One day they were simply holding hands at the market. Another day, Emma kissed his cheek without thinking. Cole froze for half a second, then smiled in a way that made her heart race. It felt right, honest, easy. That was when the rumors sharpened. People said Emma would grow bored. They said she would regret choosing a man who did not know how to lead or satisfy a wife. Some said she was settling. Others said Cole was lucky, but Emma was foolish. Emma heard it all. She answered none of it. Cole heard it too, and this time it cut deeper. One afternoon he showed up at her house quieter than usual. He helped paint a wall without speaking much, his movements careful, almost stiff. When they finally sat down for water, he did not meet her eyes. "Emma," he said finally, "you don't have to do this." She frowned. "Do what?" "Stay with me," he said honestly. "People are already judging you. I don't want to be the reason you're talked about." Emma set her glass down and stood in front of him. "Look at me." He did. "I choose you," she said firmly. "Not because I have to, because I want to." Something in Cole's face broke open. Not weakness, but relief. Like a man who had been holding his breath for years and finally let it go. Not long after that, he asked her to marry him. There was no crowd, no speech, just the two of them walking along the fence line at sunset. Cole stopped, removed his hat, and took a deep breath. "I don't have fancy words," he said, "and I don't have riches. But if you want a life with me, I'll work every day to make it a good one." Emma did not hesitate. She smiled and nodded, her eyes full. "I already have that life," she said, "with you." The news traveled fast. Some neighbors congratulated them warmly. Others shook their heads in quiet disbelief. The old rumors returned louder than before. People questioned Cole's ability to be a husband. They questioned Emma's judgment. They questioned what would happen on their wedding night, saying cruel things wrapped in false concern. Emma refused to listen. The wedding was small, held at the old church. Cole wore his best suit, nervous but proud. Emma wore a simple white dress that suited her perfectly. When she walked down the aisle, Cole forgot every whisper he had ever heard. All he could see was the woman choosing him. The ceremony was quiet and sincere. Cole's hands trembled when he spoke his vows, but his voice did not break. "I promise to stand by you," he said, "to listen, to care, to love you in every way I know how." Emma's voice was steady. "You already do," she said, "and I'm proud to be your wife." Some guests smiled. Some looked unsure. But when Cole kissed Emma for the first time as his wife, something shifted in the room. Not everyone believed the rumors anymore. That night, as the last guests left the ranch and the lanterns flickered low, Cole stood inside their small home, feeling the old doubts rise again. He had heard what people said. He knew what they expected. Emma noticed his tension immediately. "This night isn't about them," she said softly. "It's about us." Cole nodded, trying to believe it. The door closed behind them, shutting out the town, the rumors, and the years of judgment. For the first time in his life, Cole was alone with someone who truly saw him. And Willow Creek had no idea how wrong it had been. The house was quiet after the door closed. Not an empty silence, but a gentle one, filled with the soft sounds of night. Crickets sang outside. The lantern on the table cast a warm glow across the wooden walls. This was the moment Willow Creek had whispered about for weeks. The moment people thought they understood without ever being there. Cole stood near the door, his hands resting at his sides. He looked calm on the outside, but inside his thoughts were heavy. Years of rumors had taught him to expect disappointment. He did not want this night to be shaped by fear, by doubt, or by the cruel words of others. Emma watched him quietly. She had learned how to read his silences. She stepped closer and placed her hand in his. "You don't have to carry those voices in here," she said softly. "This is our space." Cole met her eyes. "I want tonight to be good for you," he said. "I want you to feel chosen." Emma smiled. "I already do." Instead of rushing, Cole lit another lantern and poured warm tea into 2 cups. He pulled out the small cake someone had left for them and cut it carefully, offering her the first piece. The simple care in his movements surprised her. Not because she doubted him, but because it showed how deeply he thought about her comfort. They sat together and talked. Not about expectations or pressure, but about childhood memories, about the ranch, about dreams they had never said out loud. Cole listened the way he always did, fully and without distraction. When Emma spoke, he remembered every word. At one point, Emma laughed and said, "People think strength is loud." Cole nodded. Quiet things can be strong, too. He reached for her hand, not unsure, not rushed. His touch was steady and respectful. It carried intention, not hesitation. Emma felt it clearly. This was not a man unsure of himself. This was a man who understood care. Later, when they moved closer, Cole spoke again, his voice low but certain. "I know what they say about me," he said, "that I don't know how to love a woman." Emma looked at him gently. "Show me how you love," she said. And he did, not with bravado, not with anything meant to prove a point. He showed her through patience, through attention, through the way he checked her comfort, the way he paused to ask, the way he stayed present. Every action was thoughtful. Every moment was chosen. Emma realized something then. Cole was not inexperienced in love. He was careful with it. He treated it like something valuable, not something to rush or take lightly. When the night grew quiet again, they rested side by side, the weight of the day finally lifting. Emma lay with her head against his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat. "You surprised me," she said softly. Cole smiled faintly. "In a good way." "In the best way," she replied. "You made me feel safe, seen." He closed his eyes, emotion tightening his throat. No one had ever said that to him before. Morning came slowly, with pale light slipping through the window. Cole woke first, as he always did. He lay still for a moment, watching Emma sleep, peaceful, content. He felt something settle deep inside him. Confidence, not borrowed from approval, but built from truth. They stepped outside together later that morning. The ranch was quiet. Dew rested on the grass. The horses moved calmly in the distance. Emma wrapped her arm through his, and Cole did not pull away. He stood taller. Word traveled fast in Willow Creek. Not about what happened behind closed doors, but about what people saw after. Cole walking through town with a new steadiness, Emma smiling without restraint. Their laughter at the market. The way Cole spoke with calm confidence, no longer shrinking himself. Someone at the bakery whispered, "He's changed." Another replied, "Maybe he was always like that." Neighbors began to see the truth. Cole was attentive. He was steady. He was present. He listened to Emma in public the same way he did in private. He supported her ideas. He stood beside her without needing to dominate or retreat. The rumors lost their grip. One afternoon, a man who once doubted Cole clapped him on the shoulder. "Looks like you proved us wrong." Cole shook his head. "I didn't prove anything. I just lived my life." That evening, Emma and Cole walked the fence line again as the sun dipped low, the same place where he had asked her to marry him. Emma squeezed his hand. "They were wrong about you," she said. Cole smiled, calm and sure. They were. As the sky turned gold, Willow Creek finally understood what Emma had known from the start. The quiet cowboy they had underestimated was never lacking. He was simply waiting for someone who saw strength in gentleness and love in patience. And on their wedding night, without saying a word to the town, Cole Rivers had surprised them all.